Hi friends, it's Joe from DadBod Fitness. Today it is around 77 degrees in Tokyo and it's 2:45 p.m. We're going to do a quick stretch. This is going to be Moose Stretch B, so enjoy. Now this is a stretch you're going to work into the program once a week or so you should become really familiar with it. Eventually you'll be able to do it from memory and you won't have to watch this video. So the first part of the glute warm-up is going to be clams. We're going to do 15 of these. I'm just going to lay out on my side and we're going to pivot on our hips and do 15 of these. So I have a whole bunch of hip and back issues, so it's been really good for me to do these consistently and start to just be able to kind of fire the right muscles as I work through this. Now you can take your time on these and just kind of soak in it. Eventually you can add resistance bands as well, is a helpful thing you can do. Let's see. All right, and from here we're gonna do hinges. I think they're hinges. I'll figure out what they're called in a minute, but you're basically gonna pivot your ankle about your knee and try to keep this stable. We're gonna do the lower ones first. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you're gonna lift your knee higher and then pivot this way. And when I did these in the beginning, I found it was easier if I just dropped lower and went to center. But now I kind of have the range to go a little bit over horizontal. So you'll do 10 of those. I think we have 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's about 10. And then you're gonna straighten your leg out. And then we're gonna do lifts sideways. You'll have 10 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm really bad at counting and talking at the same time. And 9 and 10. Rotate your leg forward. You're going to do 10 of these. 1, 2. And it should really be burning in this section. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. So then we're gonna waddle over to the other side, flip it over. So I try to make sure I get my knees at like a 90 to my chest, and then my arm out at like 45. I don't know, it's just comfortable for me. So we have 15 of these clams. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to pick your heel up and we're going to pivot. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you're going to raise higher. Now, if I'm honest, friends, I've never recorded a fitness video before. I've live streamed fitness for like 2 years. This is so different. I have nobody counting for me, and it's just a different experience. So I'm learning. This is also the very first one that I've ever filmed. We're going to do the leg lifts too. It's so funny because I've consumed lots of fitness content over the years, and I have like a humbled perspective of how difficult it actually is. All right, we got 2 more. It's nice and uncomfy. And then leg out. But yeah, it's been a wild day. Like, we have multiple fevers going around our house right now, so we had to go out to central Tokyo. And going to the doctor is always a trip in Japan because we have to go to an English-speaking hospital. I found out our kids have influenza A, which is just the flu, which is a lot of fun. All right, and so next is spider worms. I also hate these. You could do like 3 to 5 of them depending on how tight you are. For this one, it's basically like a walking plank, but then we're gonna add in some twists and other fun stuff. So you start actually with a like deadlift. So you're gonna kick your butt back, touch your toes, walk yourself out into a plank. I like to do a push-up, curl my feet, roll up, flip my feet, do a push-up. Then you're going to go into your downward dog. Rotate your knees, bend your knees twice. I think I do 3 of those on each foot to stretch the calves. Back to plank, bring one leg up, twist it up high, come back down, flip it, do the other side, and then back it up. And that's one spider worm. I don't know. My trainer MooseABoot gives me all these terrible things to do, so I've been doing this for, I think I've done 160 workouts with him so far. So that was 3 of them. Now we'll crawl out. But yeah, it's been a good journey for me working with him over the last year. Just seen a lot of great gains when it comes to overall strength, mobility. I was able to train and do 2 half marathons in the last year without any injury, which is huge for me. When I started working with him, I was getting like epidurals in my lower back, and I've been able to get off of all that. So brought my pain management back into control. No longer using any kind of pain medication either. That was a little bit more sporadic though. But you gotta do what's right for you. Everybody's coming into this program with a different level of strength and starting fitness. Some folks are injured, so you gotta take care of yourself. But this program's been really helpful for me, so it's exciting to kind of bring you into the journey as I get winded. But this has been the warm-up I've done to kind of gather myself for the last year. Well, one of the variations of it. You'll do Moose Stretch A, B, and C, which should be a good time. So with lunges, we have laterals first. So you're just going to go wide with your stance. And when I start, I normally just drop my butt down to one side, knee over toe, back to the other side. And I'll do maybe 2 on each leg. And then I start to open up and turn my foot, which I don't know if that'll be in view. So let me drop this down. There we go. So then you can start to kind of pick your foot up. It's 4, 5, 6. Now, you might not have this full range of motion at the beginning. I've literally been doing lunges for the last year to start to get to this point. So start where you're at, but eventually this is what like full range of motion will be. Now, some people can go even lower than this, but I think this is enough. And then the next one we'll do is going to be forward lunges. We're calling them engaged. So, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. I go like 3.5, 4 feet distance between the legs. And then a lot of times if you start lunging here, your body's forward. So you have to tuck your tailbone under. So give it a nice tuck so that you're vertical. And then we're going to do 10 on one leg. I also have a nice knee injury from high school that's followed me into my 30s. It's one of my favorites. Lunges are my favorite. I hate them every time. They're super uncomfy. But this is just a really good prep for this range of motion before we go into any kind of lifts. It's about 8, 9, I think, 10. So this is my bad knee. So I ruptured my bursa sac, which is like a little sac in your knee, playing football. And then it was actually my first date with my wife. We went to homecoming together, and I got carted out of the dance in a wheelchair. We spent the night at the hospital. Some doctor put like a needle straight into my knee, tried to pull some fluid out. It was a hot mess. I was on crutches for like a week and a half. Actually longer than that, maybe 6 weeks. That was a bad injury, but things are still crunchy in my knee. It's never been quite right from there. This is like your grandpa back stretch, or at least that's how it starts. So again, 90, like the glute, hand to hand. You're gonna open out, try to keep your knees down. Everyone will have a different range of motion with this as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should start to feel nice, hopefully, unless you're injured. 8, like me. 9, and 10. So from here, you're going to go back center. Your bottom hand is going to twist up to your knee, and then the top hand is going to windmill. And we'll do 10 of those. So that's 1, 2. So for me, I have, I'm like over flexible or over mobile. So I actually have to be careful with this one because I could like pop my shoulder out of the socket a little bit. And I tend to overstretch and it messes with my posture. So with this one, I'm actually working on squeezing like the shoulder kind of down and in to make sure that I have good control while I'm kind of rolling my shoulder around. I think that's 9 and 10. Let's flip it over. Sweet. All right, we got 10 on this side. This is great. You're working everything out so that you're ready to suffer for whatever the workout of the day is. It's going to be just lovely. MooseABoot's going to take care of you with whatever chaos he has planned for the day. So it's been fun. I've been working with him again for over a year now, and I pretty much hate everything he makes me do, which is a lovely relationship to have with a trainer. But my overall health and well-being has increased a lot. From an aesthetic perspective, I haven't really lost any weight, but I've put on a lot of strength, and I've been able to do physical things I haven't been able to do in the past. So I'm hoping you can kind of experience similar empowerment as you become kind of more content with your current body and the natural folds and things that occur over time. But at the same time that you can still challenge yourself and push towards a goal that's realistic and attainable but hard. So a half marathon is right in that sweet spot. I really think anyone could train up to one, whether you end up running it, walking it, or a mixture of both. It depends on what you're starting with, right? Modify as you need to, but I think it's a good challenge for anyone. So I'm excited to take you with me on all the runs and all the strength work. All right, what do we got? Oh, this is bonus. It's not on there, but I like to do these little rolls. You just grab your knees, roll out your spine. I typically do 3 to 5. Pop yourself up a little bit. Perfect. And then we have, oh, cool. All right, so these last 3, you're almost done. You're almost ready to do the real work, friends. So the first thing is wall tickles. So you want to kind of tuck your tailbone so your shoulder blades press up against the wall. And then you're going to curl your arms towards your shoulders, touch directly behind or above, and then tickle the wall as high as you can while keeping kind of your back pressed up against it. And then bring it back down, and that's 1, 2. These are terrible for me. 3, 4. It's burning. 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a nice back pop. 9. Man, 30s are creaky. 10. Now the next one, you're going to kind of wing your arms out, and then what do we do? Are we lifting elbows? I'll figure out. You're going to move your hands or your elbows. I think it's your elbows. So press your arms, your chest against the wall, elbows in, and then you're just going to lift your hands off the wall, and you should feel it in your arms and chest and back a little bit, I think. I'm not an actual trainer, but I'm a fitness enthusiast, well, enthusiast, but I consistently show up and suffer, as will you, as we do all this together. All right, one more, good. Cool. Hands down, fingers forward, and then we're just going to push over our wrists and roll to the right, roll to the left, come back, and that's 1. And then I start the other way. Roll back, that's 2. 1 more, and that's 3. Now go back to neutral, flip your hands, and then we're gonna sit back and roll it. 1, so that's kind of left, right, that's 1, back to center. Start from the other side. Now I have a lot of wrist mobility. I don't know where you're at with this, but I could really pull into it. So just do it safe and natural for you. This will help with push-ups and things later. And then this is the really hard one for me, being heavier set. We're gonna try to keep our hands the same way, but you're gonna flip over. So it's the back of your hand down. And you'll feel as soon as you lift this arm, the loading on this is kind of tough. But then once you get both under you, and it's okay if it's really hard in the beginning, you're just gonna kind of push down into it and then really try to extend to get your elbows straight. And that's where mine stop. I wish I could go farther, but I don't have that range. 2, 3. So you should feel that burn down the back of your hand. And then we're gonna go back into the flipped wrist. I'll turn sideways for this. And we're just gonna do some cat dogs. Is it cat dogs? Cat cow. So tuck and look up, that's 1. Look down, that's 1. Working on number 2. And that's number 3. Cool. See you around, friends.